It actually happened. While last week Apple fans had their big day, this week it was all about Microsoft Surface fans. And yes, I am a Microsoft Surface fan. That's why I still have my Surface RT with the type cover, and that's why I still have my Microsoft band. Where did my Microsoft band go? There are more new products announced today than there have been in years, and that's not only a quantity thing. In terms of quality, there are some significant changes to products that, as a Surface fan, I am super excited about. Let's start with the simplest upgrade, that is the Surface Go 3. Now, generally, we're not seeing a redesign, no changes to the screen. It is the same device, just with better specs, which means that, according to Microsoft, the base model still has a Pentium Gold, but it should be 60% faster. And now the higher-end model has a Core i3 rather than the Core M3 of before, and it's a few generations newer. That should be good, but keep in mind that we're still looking at 4 and 8 gigs of RAM. And I'm a little worried that, considering Microsoft Windows 11's heavier requirements, 4 gigs of RAM might actually be getting to the point where it's not enough, but we'll have to see. I was really disappointed with my Surface Go 2, and one of the reasons was the 4 gigs of RAM and the 64 gig eMMC storage, which both of them were just not fast enough for me. So I will see whether the Surface Go 3 is better. Hopefully it will be. The next Surface upgrade that we'll talk through is in the Surface Pro 8, which is just the Surface that we've all been waiting for years. It is a huge upgrade in terms of design over the Surface Pro 7 because it mirrors the design of the Surface Pro X with active cooling. Now, generally, it's got all of the Intel processor goodness that we'd expect from a newer Surface Pro, and none of the Microsoft SQ1, SQ2 stuff that, personally, I haven't found to be that great, along with Thunderbolt 4, an upgraded keyboard and pen, and upgradable storage. Now, first of all, I'm really happy that we're finally getting Thunderbolt on the Surface. It means that we can use external graphics cards in order to really make the Surface a capable gaming machine. And then also, I love the fact that we now have upgradable storage. I love that Microsoft has moved from what used to be non-upgradable storage back to upgradable storage because it sets a great precedent for the market. I only hope that companies like Apple will actually take notice that we want to be able to upgrade our own storage, and as long as you make it simple, then people will want to do it. When it comes to the pen, I already love the original Slim pen, so an upgrade to it with this whole haptic feedback situation sounds really awesome. Now, a lot of people have said it sounds a little gimmicky, but we'll have to see in practice whether it actually feels like the true effect of writing on a piece of paper. Now, I generally think the experience of using Microsoft styluses feels better than just about any other stylus that I've used, but it's up to Microsoft to actually make the software just as good. Let's talk about the Surface Duo 2. I was really excited to see the original Surface Duo, only to be let down when I actually got the opportunity to use it. Similarly, I am hesitantly excited about this new Surface Duo because it seems like it improves on a lot of the issues that Microsoft had with the original. But an upgrade to the processor and an upgrade to the camera won't fix the software. And the original 855 processor that was in the original Surface Duo wasn't a bad chip to start, and we've seen it perform a lot better in other systems. But we'll have to see whether this 888, which is the current Qualcomm processor, performs as well in the Surface Duo as it does on the Galaxy S21, for example. Now, some people have drawn attention to the fact that it only has 8 gigs of RAM. I don't think that's a big issue if Microsoft can figure out RAM management. A bigger priority for me is whether there are any sort of software upgrades. Microsoft promised a number of software upgrades with the original Surface Duo, which we have seen absolutely none of. It's still running Android 10, which is absolutely wild. But maybe they're able to fix it with Surface Duo 2. It is at least a good sign that Microsoft is following up with another iteration. It means that they're not giving up after the first try. But who knows whether they're going to be pulling a Razer phone pretty soon here. I want the Surface Duo to succeed because now with LG gone, we have a void of manufacturers making weird dual screen phones. But hopefully, Microsoft will continue to fill that void. But I am not getting my hopes up enough to pay $1,500 for a phone that could be a complete flop. Maybe after a couple months, when the price has gone down to $999, I will consider it, but for now, I'm going to have to sit and wait. Finally, the product that I'm most excited for, the Surface Laptop Studio. I've been saying over the last couple of years that Microsoft's products have been getting a little bit boring, notably their Book, Pro, and laptop lines, because they haven't experienced a major redesign. This is the first major redesign that we've seen for Microsoft's core products for a number of years. Out goes the Surface Book, RIP, and in comes the Surface Laptop Studio. Now, I'm particularly excited for this because I found that the Surface Book's design was just a little bit too bulky for the actual experience that it delivered. Because all of the hardware had to be built into the tablet itself, the keyboard was kind of dumb, save for the GPU. And so I'm thankful that we're finally getting a more traditional device with all of the hardware in the bottom of the device, with still the experience of being able to flip it out into a tablet mode and get that writing creative experience. The result is a device that doesn't compromise on the experience of using it as a laptop, which unfortunately I can't say about the Surface Book because the massive fulcrum hinge actually made the device super bulky. But this device is significantly thinner and lighter and more compact, which is excellent. But it still has the high-end specs that I'd expect out of a creative device. It seems like this device is targeted towards someone like me who wants to use this Surface for video editing. The only big problem I see is the price, because $1599 seems to be a little bit steep for a Core i5 and 256 gigs of storage. And once you start speccing it up, it can get very, very expensive. Now, granted, MacBooks have always been expensive as well, but it's difficult not knowing the actual performance that we're going to get out of it and paying that big, steep price point. I'm excited to get the opportunity to use it as a Surface fan, but it might have to be a couple of months down the line. What was your favorite product of the announcement? Let me know down in the comments. If enough people kind of revolve around one core product, then I'll go out and buy it and then review it here on the channel. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and keep an eye out because I'm going to be reviewing the Surface Laptop 4 coming out very soon here. Yes, I know it's a little bit late, but I've really wanted to try and use it as a super competitive system to my MacBook Air. So keep an eye out if you are interested. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.